Get started. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, August 19th Board of Supervisors meeting. It is 9:02. We will call this meeting to order. Are there any additions to the agenda?
There are no additions.
And County Council, will you read the items in the closed section for the record, please?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, you have conference with your labor negotiators under Government Code Section 54957.6. Your agency designated representatives are Joel Bugay, Shanika Dixon, and Sabrina Mendez to discuss all units, employee organizations, and all classifications of unrepresented employees but not elected officials. Under Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection D1, there are several existing litigation matters. The first is Valley Groundwater Coalition versus the County of Madera. That's a Madera County Superior Court case 087677. And Cardoza with several other plaintiffs listed on the agenda versus the Madera County Groundwater Sustainability Agency, also a Superior Court case MCV 086218. The other two are related to what was on your agenda last meeting, the Amerisource Corporation, known as the opioid litigation matters. And we received better information, so want to agendize those based on outside counsel's recommendations. And that is the In Re Purdue Pharma LP. That's a United States Bankruptcy Court, New York Southern District litigation matter, and the other is National Prescription Opioid Litigation, also a U.S. District Court, Northern District of Ohio, case. The last is under Government Code Section 54957, Public Employee Appointment Employment, and that's for the Chief Information Officer. I would like to note for the board that the board letter, a template was used, and it says County Administrative Officer on that template. However, that position, which is being recruited for now, is not what will be discussed in closed session. Just a note. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment on any of these items?
None online.
None online. I'll close public comment and we will recess into closed session. We're good to go. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Madera County Board of Supervisors. County Council, do we have any reportable actions out of closed session?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, on item 2D, the Purdue Pharma existing litigation matter on a motion by Supervisor McCauley, seconded by Supervisor Wamhoff, a 5-0 yes vote, with all supervisors voting yes in favor of the following. A yes vote on the Purdue Pharmacy Bankruptcy Settlement Plan, authorizing the CAO or the county council to take action on behalf of the county, including executing any documents. And on 2E, the National Prescription Opioid Litigation Matter, on a motion by Supervisor Poitras, seconded by Supervisor Wamhoff, there was a 5-0 yes vote, all supervisors voting yes, in favor of a governmental entity settlement agreement with the Sackler release and a yes vote to join a 9-defendant settlement allocation, and authorizing the CAO or the county council to execute this action on behalf of the county. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will open and close the meeting in memory of. Any of my colleagues wish to recognize someone? Supervisor McCauley.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, yesterday I was very sad to learn of the passing of Wendy Dale Wheeler Hamilton, the daughter of former Supervisor Tom Wheeler. For those of you that know me, Tom is like family, so when there's loss within a family, it's hard. So thank you.
Thank you. We will keep Supervisor Wheeler's family in our thoughts and prayers. Anyone else? Okay, we will have our invocation by Mr. Scott Dixon of Madera Avenue Bible Church, and Supervisor Wamhoff will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance after.
Good morning. I typically don't have a scripted prayer, but I wanted to get it right this morning, so bear with me. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this new day and for the leaders gathered here in service to Madera County. We ask for your wisdom to guide every decision, your peace to cover every conversation, and your grace to strengthen those who carry the weight of leadership. We praise you for the beauty of this land, from the fertile fields that feed our nation to the towering granite of Yosemite that declares your glory. We celebrate the diversity of our people, the resilience of our farmers, and the compassion of our community partners who labor daily for restoration and hope. As your word reminds us in Psalm 19, verse 1, the heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands. May this meeting reflect the same glory in justice, mercy, and humility. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which
Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is public comment. The first 15 minutes of each regular session are set aside for members of the public to address the board on any matter under the jurisdiction of the board, but not appearing on the agenda. The board will not take action on any items presented under public comment. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the board is asked to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium and state their name and county of residence for the record. Do we have any public comment? Do we have any online?
None online.
I will close public comment and bring it to the consent calendar. All matters listed under consent are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion.
Madam Chair?
Yes, County
Members-
Council.
Yeah, members of the board, just 2 requests. The first is to pull item P. Item P is a public health department matter. And the second is to note an error on the agenda, but the backup is correct. And that is item H. Thank you, Jay. Item H, it's a County Administrative Department General Services Division item. The overtime rate is $65.25. It's listed incorrectly on the agenda language, but the backup is correct. It'd be $65.25 instead of $63.45. Thank you,
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair.
Any of my colleagues wishing to pull an item for further discussion? Supervisor Wamhoff.
Yes, I just have a comment regarding 5D, 5 David.
5D, anyone else? The floor is yours.
Great, so this item is regarding safe routes to schools, and entering into an agreement with TDG Engineering on their proposal. I had some questions because I think a lot of people get caught up in woke jargon, and when we're entering into agreements with these places, I want to make sure that, you know, we're getting unbiased information. So in their proposal, on their understanding and approach section, without context, it says the unique context and needs of Madera County will require a thoughtful and creative approach to this project. Many of Madera County's 160,000 residents identify as Hispanic or Latino without any further context. So I'm just wondering, what does that have to do with anything regarding safe routes to schools? And second, on their bullet points on their approach, it says that they will view equity as the lens through which all strategies must pass. And so I wanted to know, I mean, I understand from this woke nonsense mentality what they mean by equity, but what does that actually mean when coming up with a plan for safe routes to schools?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, Jamie Bax with Community and Economic Development. To answer your question, we did go through this thoroughly. It appeared that all of the proposals had similar jargon as part of that. However, when staff looked at it, we were looking more at a safety concept as opposed to anything else. And we did do follow-up interviews after we received the proposals to clarify that that's what we were focused on. So how they market themselves is, you know, up to them. However, as I mentioned, that staff was looking at more of a safety aspect in getting the kids safely to school.
And that's what I want this entire thing to be about, because that's what it is, safe routes to schools. But when they say equity is the lens through which all strategies must pass, you know, are they proposing design recommendations that every child in Madera County has equal access to safe routes to schools? Or are they going to prioritize certain groups based on immutable characteristics? Because that's really what this is. And I want to stomp out this nonsense that these organizations bring to our county, because this is this type of nonsense that we don't need to have here. It's about safe routes to schools, nothing else. And I know I'm you know, the company isn't here representing, but I wanted to speak about this because this is an issue. I want to make sure that when these organizations are bringing these proposals forward, that this nonsense isn't included. Because when we're talking about safe routes to schools, we want to talk about the safety of all of our students in the county. And when they talk about equity and seeing everything through the lens of equity, what they're essentially saying is that they're going to pick and choose based on immutable characteristics of children or demographics in a neighborhood. And, or at least that's what they're conveying in their proposal. Whether or not they mean it is a totally different story. But if that's their marketing strategy, you know, to someone like me, it has the opposite effect. And it's unfortunate that, you know, all of the organizations seem to have similar type language in their proposals. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Do we have any public comment on the consent calendar?
None online.
I'll close public comment and bring it back for action.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Madam Chair, just a clarification, that motion, is it with item P being pulled?
And
Yes.
and 5H, the
Yes.
corrected.
Move to approve with item P being pulled and corrections on item E.
And I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor McCauley.
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh.
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers. Supervisor Poitras.
Yes.
Chair Gonzalez.
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. Our first item on the agenda is item 6A.
Board of Supervisors Department, District Number 5, presentation on current reservation systems, summer operations and upcoming projects at Yosemite National Park.
Thank you. And for this item, I will have Supervisor of Record who requested the item, Supervisor McCauley, do the introductions.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I'm pretty happy today in regards to this item. I think I've been here at the county for about 6.5 years, and I think this would be the first time a park superintendent from Yosemite National Park has made it down to the board chambers to provide us an update. Not only that, very pleased that I think this board was able to pass a letter of recommendation for interim park superintendent Ray McPadden a couple weeks ago. So I do appreciate the support on that. But Ray has done a phenomenal job since assuming the interim role at Yosemite National Park, increasing access for not only residents in the area, but visitors throughout the country and the world. He's also made some great updates. I don't want to steal your entire presentation, but obviously I'm very pleased with everything that's going on at the park right now. Updates to how we enter the gate. I think we're going to be first in line with some great innovative approaches to how we do that. So with that, I will save the rest of my praise for Ray, and I'll allow him to do his presentation. So, thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor McCauley. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. For the record, my name is Ray McPadden. I'm the interim superintendent of Yosemite National Park. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. So I started back in the spring. I came up from Southern California. I'm a superintendent down there. I got a call like one afternoon from inside the agency, and they said, "Hey, are you interested in going to Yosemite for a little while to help?" And I said, "I will be there tomorrow." And it's been very, very busy this summer. And in between all the search and rescues and the sort of normal summer action that we have in the park, I've been actually trying to get out into all the communities, every cardinal direction around the park, to connect with people, to hear from folks directly, to introduce myself and hear about what's important to you. I want to be a good neighbor to you. And Yosemite National Park wants to be a good neighbor to Madera County. And to that effect, I think we need to have respectful, trusting relationships with our local elected officials. So it's a privilege to be here with you today. I'm going to show a few slides about summer operations. So we've got some data and some charts. Then I'm going to run through with you just to tell you about kind of what's going on in the this summer. And I want to wrap with how we're going to engage you in some decision making about what next summer and what the future look like here in the park. Okay. So what you're seeing up on the screen here, talk about the visitor experience. I want to start there. Visitors come into Yosemite, and the first real physical interaction they have with the park is our entrance stations. And there have been horror stories in the past of like 3 and 4 hour lines in the summer, right? So this is something we are interested in making better for people. We do not want folks sitting in big lines waiting to get into the park. And one of the really important things, right, is if you cannot measure something, you can't manage it, you can't make it better. So this summer, what we did for the first time is we actually put in cutting edge technology that allows us to see exactly how long it takes cars to go through our gates. And so this graph that I'm showing is a representation of that data, right? It's the information that this new system is giving us. And so what you see here, this is a snapshot from the kind of the 4th of July period, which is usually gigantic in the park. And that lower horizontal red line that you see there, it's denoted with 60 on the left side. That's the 1 hour mark, right? So what you're seeing here is wait times to get into the park. And I use the Arch Rock entrance here. Arch Rock's is kind of like one of the moderate busy entrances. So I'm showing you this just as a representation. We actually have this for the south entrance as well. I won't run through all of it, but the Arch Rock entrance, what you're generally seeing, right? And this is a good thing. I think our gate staff have been doing a fantastic job this summer, trying to make things go faster, trying to cycle people through and get them into the park where they want to be. The vast majority of days, people are going to wait less than 10 minutes to get into the park. So that's the good news, right? I think that's big progress from our team in helping folks cycle through quickly. And so all those kind of on the bottom of the chart there, right? Those little blue bars, right? That's showing generally very, very short waits. Sometimes, it's 5 minutes or less. On average, we are cycling people through in less than 10 minutes. Where we're still seeing pretty big backups, right? The kind of the bad news is Saturday mornings, people are still piling up. And so we are seeing kind of Saturday between 9 and 11 o'clock, we'll get up to an hour wait. At the south entrance, which is by far the busiest entrance, right? If you're coming in through Oakhurst, those waits have gotten to about an hour and a half, kind of at their worst. So a significant improvement from where we've been in the past, right? 3-hour lines, 2-hour lines. But I think there's still a long way to go. And so the thing we're excited about right now, one is we can measure this now, which helps us make it better. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to launch here as we come out of Labor Day. We're going to launch a digital pass. A digital pass is basically you buy your pass online before you get to the park. And when you come up to the gate, all you do is you should show a QR code, and you go on through.
And I hate to interrupt, but it may seem trivial to have a digital pass, but can I ask how many national parks in the United States use a digital pass?
There's a handful of the bigger high-profile ones, Supervisor McCauley, that are doing them. It's still fairly new and fairly cutting edge. So I think we're very much an early adopter of this.
Thank you.
We're excited about it. It's going to be great. One of the things we're doing also to make the entrances move faster is we're putting Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi at our entrances. So we now have public Wi-Fi at the Big Oak Flat entrance, which is what we refer to as the San Francisco entrance or the Bay Area entrance. And then the next move is the south entrance, right? That's closest to Oakhurst. We want to put public Wi-Fi there. And that's a joint project with our gateway communities. So we're excited about those things. I talked briefly about the reservation system for the park. This summer, we launched a scaled back and more visitor-friendly reservation system for Yosemite. And what we did from previous years was we shrunk the total number of days that we were requiring reservations, and we also made it fewer hours per day. This system this summer has worked quite well. I will tell you one of the things we did, in addition to shrinking number of days and then number of hours per day, is we also dramatically increased the number of tickets that are available to people. And so this graph represents the increase. So you see on the far left there, in 2024, on your average summer day, we are allowing 3,925 cars to get tickets, right? And so these are number of cars, they're not number of people, right? So we manage cars, we don't necessarily manage like total volume of people. So 3,925. This summer, we dramatically increased that to 5,187 cars coming into the park, right? So we expanded access. We allowed more people into the park. We want to welcome as many visitors as we possibly can, safely and smoothly. This has gone actually quite well. Lots and lots of busy days. But I think we're largely hearing from people, they're still having a great experience. Generally, people can find parking. Traffic is free flowing and the entrance lines are manageable. So this expansion of access, I think, has been a success. What you see here, I just always like to sort of explain this when we're talking about the reservation system, is on the right here, these are the day use reservations that are available to people, where I'm hovering the cursor there. These are the day use reservations, right? So that's the 5,187 tickets, and that is separate from overnight accommodations, right? Overnight accommodations, if you book campgrounds in the park, you're staying at the Ahwahnee, you have a wilderness permit, there's sort of all these ways to get into the park. And generally, the target we've been thinking about in terms of a safe visitor experience, our emergency services continuing to function well, is about 12,000 cars in the park at any given time. Things work pretty well. And then when we start to go north of that, things get a little messy. So that's the relation of day use tickets to overnight and how we kind of think about total number of people on any given summer day. So we've expanded access to the park this summer, right? We want to welcome more people. And we're seeing that show up in our aggregate numbers. So this is our total visitation going back to 2010. And the important thing here is you go to the far right here, it's the dashed line. This is our projection for 2025. We're on target for about 4.5 million visitors this year. And right, again, this is a projection through July. Our numbers through July, if you look at historic trends, we're probably heading to 4.5 million. Could be more, could be less. So we're welcoming more people. This is a good thing, right? This is a good thing. What's also true this year is that international visitation by a lot of national metrics is down. Overnight or hotel occupancy in the gateway communities around the park is also down. And spending in gateway communities, Oakhurst, Mariposa, Lee Vining, is also down. So, one thing we've been talking about in the park is like, how can these two things be true? How can our visitation be going up while some of these other big metrics are going down? And I will tell you that our theory right now is mainly that visitation from nearby towns and communities, the Central Valley, Fresno, Sacramento, Merced, Madera, that day use is way up. And those folks don't tend to spend as much time or as much money in the gateway communities. A lot of times they're not, spending the night anyway, right? They're not spending the night near the park. They're just coming in, doing a long day, and then they're heading back home. So we think that it's Californians from the local area that are sort of driving these numbers up this year. But we are very sensitive to the fact that some of these other metrics that affect the gateway communities and our partners are down, and it's something we're cognizant of. This is just I think the last graph I want to show, and this is a comparison of July this year and July last year. So last year we had 4.1 million visitors. Pretty healthy number, a good number. We're trying to grow that, right? I think we can get to 5 million visitors a year. And I think if we ramp up to it, like we can do it responsibly. I don't necessarily want to like cannonball into that pool, right? I'd rather just like walk into that pool. So this is a comparison though of July last year versus July this year. And so the orange line is July last year. And what we're seeing in 2025 is average weekday visitation is about the same, but we're seeing these bigger spikes actually on weekends. And for me, that reinforces, I think, that we've got a lot of folks who are coming from, within a 3 or 4 hour drive, somewhere in that, in that radius, and they're making day trips into the park, right? And so it's not people who are on these, huge international vacations per se. It's more of, right, your local Californians from communities nearby. So I'm going to switch over to one more thing that is more about how we talk with you and what we want to do moving forward to enhance your ability to give us input into what's going on. We have I think we had a second document here. While we're pulling that up, I'm not going to run through. I'm not going to run through it because it's a draft for the supervisors to review and discuss. Oh. No problem. So I'm gonna talk through it. We have shared through Supervisor McCauley what we're calling a Gateway Community Charter. And the Gateway Community Charter outlines how we want to better work with the 4 surrounding counties of Yosemite National Park. So the Gateway Charter we're sharing, and it basically talks about the who, what, when, where, why of us getting together and talking. are proposing to meet 4 times a year and to convene a group essentially of 3 representatives from each of our surrounding counties. The Park Service would facilitate this, but also give the community representatives an opportunity to facilitate if you so choose. And what we want to do is we want to engage you in our major decision making before we're there, right? We want to give you an opportunity for early input into what we're doing. So we are sharing a draft document, and putting it in writing, I think, is going to give it longevity, right? And we're asking each of the surrounding counties to sign off on that. I would sign off on it, and of course, our regional director would also sign off. The first thing we want to try to get everybody together about is the reservation system itself and what next summer could look like, what it should look like. So we want to have a discussion about the options, how you all feel about those options, what the impacts of those different configurations are, and then hopefully land on consensus around what to do next with the reservation system. Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So I think we've got the draft document. You'll have an opportunity to see the written draft, and we're asking for comments on that before obviously before we circulate any versions for signature. So that's what I got. Thank you again for your time. Happy to take any questions or comments you have.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from the board? I've got Supervisor Rogers.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that congratulations on revising the crown jewel, as far as I'm concerned, of national parks. I love Yosemite. I've loved it since I was a boy. I've got pictures with me and my brother and sister up there on a rock near Yosemite Falls, and I think that rock is still there. It's in a different position now or something, but it's a huge boulder. But I say all that to say that it's a big part of my life, my family's life. We went up there this last beginning of summer, before summer actually kicked in, when the reservations weren't required in May. And I think that's a great concept during the off seasons, is not to have an impediment for locals, especially, to get in there. We actually stayed overnight. My entire family, I brought my grandchildren and everybody, because Yosemite's more than just a once a year thing for us. It's a couple of times a year, and there's different environments in different seasons in Yosemite. It's so unique and different. As you're well aware, it's a big portion of ancillary revenue to this community, I really just appreciate the thought of you working with us on crafting those constructs before we get, there was times when there were impediments, and it was severe consequences revenue wise for the communities and the jobs that surround that. One quick question on this: the wait times on reservations of campgrounds. What are you seeing on that, as far as like in advance you have to get reservations?
Yeah, generally we make them available months in advance, either a 90-day or 6 months out.
That's good.
For campgrounds. So we try to have those available pretty far in advance. Sir, what I'll tell you we see is generally they will, as soon as we make them available, they're fully booked and sold out within a matter of 1 or 2 minutes. That has been the pattern. We just reopened one of the largest campgrounds in the entire national park system, which is Tuolumne Meadows. I think that sold out in like 30 seconds online.
Love Tuolumne Meadow.
It's fantastic.
I've done every major climb in Yosemite, including Cathedral Peak. That's an amazing climb. If you've never seen Majesty from the top of a mountain, there it is, Cathedral Peak, and it's a class 4 walk up, I think, and it's part of it. So
yeah, amazing
great
area.
A great climb.
Amazing area. Beautiful. Good fishing too.
Yes.
Good fishing up there.
All of the above. Yeah. But thank you so much, and just so happy that you're in this position because your connection with our community will mean a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Supervisor McCauley.
Yeah, I just want to make a couple comments here, and one is kind of around change, which I think for a lot of people can be a scary thing. But when our leadership embraces the idea or concept of change, I think it makes a huge difference. And I think that's what I've seen from you is a willingness to do things differently, to move against the grain at times, to the benefit of not just the park, but those that want to access the park. So I want to thank you for that. And then for the benefit of the public, I want to make sure that they know that this concept was born at a breakfast meeting on a napkin in Washington, D.C. at a NACO meeting between Supervisor Kaiser in Mariposa and Supervisor Peters over in Mono County and myself. And I say that just to point out the importance of some of these meetings or conferences that we attend, the opportunities that it creates. Obviously they don't happen in a silo. They require the cooperation of leaders like yourself, as well as the Department of Interior and Congressman McClintock. So a lot of work went into making this happen. But again, I just want to make sure the public understands that when this board goes out on conferences, we go out to Sacramento, DC, wherever that may be, we're there working to the benefit of the public. And these are the kind of great things that come from those sorts of activities, right? This is how we make positive change. So thank you once again for being here. Thank you for bringing this forward. I look forward to continued collaboration to the benefit of, again, the public. So thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you very much. If I may just
Yeah,
respond
please.
on that, just to unpack it a little bit. So Supervisor McCauley, I think, had a role in the creation of Secretarial Order 3434, which is basically says, parks need to focus on their gateway communities, right? And the interconnected relationship there, right? Allow them for meaningful input into what's going on. And so the gateway charter that you have a draft of, right, is one of the ways we're operationalizing that secretarial order. And we are excited and pleased to be doing it with you.
Can I have seconds on something here real quick?
We'll go to
Yeah,
Supervisor.
no, that's fine. I'll come back to
First,
it.
and then we'll come.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you, Chair. Yeah, great presentation. I think this is the first time I've ever heard a presentation from Yosemite National Park with this board. So this is definitely refreshing, and also, that attitude of, we want you, we welcome you, please visit and enjoy this treasure. And it seems like just kind of in the general atmosphere, prior years, it's been about reducing people visiting and access and things of that sort. So I really appreciate that. But I was just kind of curious in the chart. It showed a 2016 as being a year that had like 5 million visitors, and it was kind of an anomaly. And I was just wondering, do you know what happened during 2016 that caused that jump in visitors?
Yes, sir. Good catch on that. So 2016 was the centennial of the National Park System and the National Park Service. So the 100-year anniversary, and there was a colossal marketing effort that went into sort of attracting and promoting the parks and promoting visitation. And so that turned up in a big way for the big iconic crown jewels, Yosemite, Yellowstone, Grand Canyon. So we had a huge year. That was a little bumpy too. It was about 5.2 million. And I think like the park operationally wasn't kind of ready for it. So, the folks that are around on our staff today who kind of remember that said it was kind of rocky. I think it was rocky for the visitors. It was rocky for our law enforcement, our ambulances, everybody. So I think we can get back there, but the responsible way to do it is to ramp up to it. And that's sort of the pattern we're on now, right? Coming out of COVID is sort of ramping back up and trying to grow our visitation and very much saying, as you said, sir, people are welcome here and there's plenty of room for everyone.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Supervisor Rogers.
Yeah, just circling back to access. the Highway 41 has been a difficult circumstance for this county in some respects, an expensive circumstance. And really its main purpose, not only access to the communities up in the mountain, but its main thoroughfare is a federal lands access to Yosemite. And I would like to see that, and I think this board would like to see that eventually designated as a federal lands access highway. It would mean a difference in funding. We've had some federal input into the dollars to improve that highway, but not near what could happen if it was actually recognized that that is a main access point for Yosemite. As an example, for Eastman Lake, simply because Eastman Lake is a Corps of Engineers lake, we had federal lands access a FLAP grant of $25 million to improve the road, the 13 miles of road to Eastman. While I'm grateful for that, I wish that we had that same kind of opportunity for Highway 41 in the sense that you've got a lot of people, and I don't know how many, 1.5 million a year maybe come through that gate, something like that.
Yeah, it is by far our busiest gate.
Okay, so
Head
there,
and shoulders above.
there it is. There it is. And if I'm sure you have the ear of those that might be interested in hearing that, that is a big issue for us, and we would love to see that improved. It's not a completely safe highway as it is now with that kind of volume. It needs to be improved to the level that it would be an easier access to the Yosemite Highway, name it.
You know, thank you for that comment. Yes, and
Yeah.
it's very much our busiest gate by far. It is year in, year out, and it's also a beautiful drive. So
Great, thank you. Do we have any public comment on this item? Any online?
None online.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. McPadden. Appreciate the presentation and good luck to you.
thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
It is now 10:40. We will go into our public hearings, item 7A.
Board of Directors, Special Districts, Public Works Department, Administrative Services Division, hearing to consider adoption of a resolution confirming report on and authorizing the auditor controller to impose liens for delinquent utility fees and charges to send and authorize the collection efforts. Maintenance District number 1, 5, 6, 7, 8A, 10A, 19A, 19B, 22A, 24, 27, 28, 33, 36, 37, 40A, 42, 43, 46, 58, 60A, 63A, 73A, 85, and 95. Service areas number 1, 2B, 3, 3B, 14, 16, 22C.
Thank you. Andrea.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Andrea Saldati, Deputy Director with Public Works. Before you today is an annual housekeeping item. What this item does is it allows us to roll unpaid water and sewer utility balances onto the tax roll. We did send notices out to 596 separate accounts. Those were sent on July 17th. Of those 596, 123 folks did come in and either pay off their balance or got on a repayment plan. Right now on the list, there's 473 for a total of $575,000. At this point, I would like to remove 2 of the accounts from the list. They did come in and make a full payment. So under Parksdale, it is line 30, Michael Belton. They did pay off the full balance. And then Parksdale 3B, it is line number 4, Valerie Diaz. She did come in and pay off the full balance. So with that, I'm here for any questions.
Do you have any questions or comments from the board? Do we have any? Oh. Do we have any public comment on this item? Come on up, ma'am. Come on up. You can sign in, state your name and residence, and you have 3 minutes.
So you don't have the copies that I sent in a couple weeks ago? I emailed them.
All
to
of them were distributed to the board.
Okay, my name is Cindy Ratzlaff, and I'm from the MD 22A. I wish my husband could be here, but it's on me today. So our balance stems back to a year ago. We were before you, and that's where the paperwork comes in, because it gives you last year when we were here and what you had asked all the departments to help us get through. So our building is a building on Highway 41, 40423 Highway 41. It is Kyoto Cafe, and it had the laundromat in it for 50 years. And so we're the owners of the building. And so when the laundromat left, we decided to just let them go because it was kind of destroying our building, and it was very hard to keep a laundromat in business in Oakhurst. And so the bill they were paying every month was $381 for sewer fees. So when you own this many sewer units, which we do, and so they left and we still got billed. I actually went to American Water Company, opened an account in my name to prove that no water ever went out of the building. And so we came before this board to ask if you would stop billing, because no one's in there, no tenant, and we're paying for water to go to the sewer service. And what we were told when we went to the building department is, well, we're not a utility company. We can't just turn it on and off. And so as months and months and months went by, the bill just got huge. We finally got a tenant in, and that tenant on 10/24, they were told that they needed 0.4 sewer units. So we went from over 16 for the laundromat to 0.4. So they went ahead and put it on standby for us, which we were told that they don't do standby, and I knew they could. And so you guys asked them to do that. So that all happened during the year. These little things got fixed, which is great. But this was requested last year, that they adjust our bill, because we were charged all the way until that time, where now our bill for the whole building is only $400 some. And so before, just for the laundromat, it was $980 some a month, and there was no one there, no one using it. And so we just don't feel right that it's something we should pay. So we finally just started paying the bill. We've been paying double every month, and just hoping we could come before you guys again and you would ask that we be credited, because it's just all we see is that's right. No one was there, no water, no sewer bill should have ever been. And it would be great if we were in a community that you could electronically turn it off if a tenant leaves, and I can see if it's 100 or 2 or something, maybe the landlord can keep, but when it's that big, I made the bill. It's now, well, we paid it down to 14,000, but it was like 16.
Okay, thank you for your comments, Mrs. Retzlaff.
And we have had a lot of help. They've done a lot for us, but this one's just kind of straggling.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Next, please.
Hi, my name is Camille Sanders. I am in the Ranchos. I'm basically my husband was supposed to be paying this bill, and I just found out. I work for California Department of Food and Agriculture, and I have been traveling back and forth to San Jose for emergency pest detection, and discovered we had this bill he didn't take care of, and we're actually now currently getting a divorce. So I just want to make out payments because I just got the updated bill from being con.
If you connect with Andrea, we can schedule make an arrangement.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Next, please. You state your name.
Hello, Hello, my name is John Prado, and I will be speaking on number 3 Parksdale. And I just come before the board because I would like to ask if it is possible for me to make arrangements for payment on this delinquent bill. I had tried to before, but I had fell on some hard financial times and didn't have work available for some time this summer, and which I do have work lined up, and I will be starting in September. And so at this point, I'm capable of making some sort of arrangement, and just I'm hoping that that is still possible at this point.
Thank you, Mr. Prado. If you connect with Andrea, she can help make those arrangements. Thank you. Do we have anyone else? Do we have anyone online?
None online.
Okay. At this time, I'll bring it back to the board for action. Or any comments?
Yeah, just a quick question in regards to Ms. Ratzlaff's comments. I know she said that there was quite a bit of assistance that staff has provided. I want to thank District Chief of Staff Melissa Da Silva for providing me with a little printout of the timeline on how some of this has transpired. Still, it's a little messy. It's a little confusing. So I was wondering if you might be able to help provide the board with a little clarity on where we were, what's been done, and then where we are today.
Sure. So the laundromat, like Ms. Rosloff had said, the laundromat has been a laundromat, and so they had acquired a bunch of units because that's what was required at that point. Then it's no longer a laundromat, and there was going to be a new tenant in. We were requiring some sort of drawings or something in writing stating what the new tenant was going to be. We received those in September of 24, and then we made the adjustments. We credited back. We did take all of the units that were active and put them on standby. We credited late fees and we credited the actual O&M fees from September because that's when we were actually able to see what it was and make that determination. So yes, as of right now, the fee is roughly $400. We did go through a process with Ms. Ratzlaff to sell some of her units. We were able to actually very expeditiously sell 6 of her water units or sewer units to another property. And so we were able to get those off of her books, essentially. At this point in time, what is left is the back bill from when it was the laundromat. In any circumstance within any of our special districts, we cannot shut off sewer. You guys are well aware, right? There's not a mode or mechanism to just say, okay, sewer's turned off. With water, that's a little bit easier if there's a meter in place. But essentially, if there is a building, if there is some sort of structure on that parcel, we are billing them an improved rate per however many units are assigned to that property. Once we knew what the property was going to be utilized as, we made the proper adjustments with the units. And then again, we did also go through the process to sell a couple of our units, and that was finalized in July.
So from my understanding, the request is for the period of time which the laundromat was closed until which the point in which staff was able to receive documentation that the laundromat was indeed closed. There's some fees within there, and that's what the concern is. Is that correct?
From my perspective, yes.
Okay, that's okay.
Ma'am, we're gonna need to, we can't go back and forth like that. So unless Supervisor,
Andrea, at this point in time, I'm a little unsure what a path forward here is, and I just hesitant to put her on the tax roll when we're still having dialogue. Obviously, there's still some confusion. So I'm hopeful we can take this off the tax roll while we figure this out, and perhaps we can bring it back at another time. It's not able to be resolved.
Sure, we can do that. Just to make the board aware, this would be the second year that we have left it off of the tax roll in order to kind of work through. And so we would like to be able to work through this rather quickly and able to remedy, the outstanding balance.
Okay. I guess for a follow-up question for you, Andrea, I mean, again, we're looking at a period of time in which property owner is saying something happened to the time we had actual documentation when it actually happened. So from county's perspective, is there any possible remedy in this? Like, so I understand your perspective on not wanting on you would like to move forward, but at the same time, I would hate to miss an opportunity for a remedy that, you know, accommodates the request. So is there anything that can be done at this point? I hate to put you on the spot like that.
In order to keep it off of the tax roll, this outstanding balance, we have gone through kind of all of the steps that we would need to go through in order to verify what the building was being used as and at what point in time. To go backwards in time, we have no proof of what its use was. Was it sitting stagnant? Yeah, I'm sure that it was. But again, in every other district, there are properties that sit stagnant and they are being charged because they have a structure in place.
This
What
is a county policy.
this is a county policy
Okay.
for every single district that we have. One of the things we could do is we could utilize a repayment plan where we take that large chunk of delinquency and we break it up over a 6 to 12-month period to get that repayment and make that into smaller chunks. That would be an option. Other than a repayment plan at this point in time, I don't know what other source of data to utilize to say we should not roll it to the property taxes.
Okay.
And just Andrea, if I want to chime in, because I want to be very careful of the precedent that we set. So, what we do for one, we'll have to do for others. And so I don't know that I'd be in favor of keeping it off. Supervisor Rogers.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. When you buy a piece of property and you know the circumstances of that property, you're buying a circumstance as well as an opportunity. You could have as well utilized the units and you weren't. But when you buy that property, you're assuming the liability for that, the responsibility for that circumstance. And the rest of the unit is relying on the cooperation of the partners in that unit to live up to their obligation. And it creates a circumstance when we allow something like this to just go past, where we've got other maintenance districts where with probably similar circumstances, and you're going to have a flood of those people coming in saying, what about me? What about me? And I did this back then, and I've got to have that. I got to have a rebate. And, so I'm not in favor of altering the circumstances. I feel bad for you that you've got that large bill, but when you bought the property, that's what you were buying, was the responsibility for that bill. And the caveat emptor is a line that almost applies in this circumstance. Let the buyer beware. You got to look at your circumstances and understand what you're buying. Thank you.
Supervisor Wamhoff.
Yeah, I just had a question regarding, obviously, we're going to leave off the two that had come in to satisfy their bill. Can we make some accommodations for those that have come in requesting payment arrangements today? So in this motion, can we delay it for tomorrow, or what do you recommend?
So before you guys make a motion, I would need direction for the other two, or Mrs. Rotzloff as well, what you would like me to do to move forward. If you would like to remove them from the tax roll, essentially that means that balance will stay on their account and we can work with them with either a repayment plan or, it's going to sit on their account. A repayment plan would be the best mode of action at this point. So that way their delinquency is broken up and again into 6 or 12-month increments, but it would be your direction before you make your motion, what it is you would like to do. It's either they move to the tax roll or we remove them from the list.
I'd like
And it
to
would
ask
just
a-
stay on the account.
Supervisor Macaulay and then Supervisor Rogers.
Yeah, going back to the, I guess, county policy around standby units. Do we have an understanding of other counties and other areas and what they're doing as far as, you know, when a business is shut down, do they have a procedure to put sewer units on standby? I mean, is that something the county could look at in the future? You know, because again, I mean, this does feel like an issue where, you know, I understand county policy. I understand what my colleagues are saying about setting precedent. I appreciate that and don't want to make exceptions for one person. But when there's opportunities for county to make changes to policies to the benefit of future businesses or property owners, these are things that I would like to understand. So do we have a sense of what other counties are doing around standby units, being able to turn off on, as we talked about?
So I personally don't have a good sense. I've never reached out. We've never kind of been in this situation before. This is somewhat unique, actually. What we do know is that throughout our districts, there are people that have multiple sewer units. Whatever's in use is in use, and whatever's on standby is on standby. If they would like to sell them, you know, they can. We can definitely reach out to other districts around us and see what they do in these types of circumstances. And if we need to change policy, we would just need to be very clear with what type of documentation we would need to prove, you know, from this point in time, we're no longer utilizing all of these units in use versus, you know, we would need to come up with something that we all agree upon that this is the reason why we would stop this improved rate and probably for what type of duration. We can definitely, you know, work through that and get some suggestions from other areas. Right now, I just don't have that information.
That's fair enough.
Supervisor Rogers.
Yeah, what ramifications do we have for delaying putting this on the roll? Are there ramifications with the other property holders? Does this lessen our ability, lessen our, let's say, our hammer, as it were, to drive the nail?
This property is within MD 22A Oakhurst. It's a rather large district. There are, you know, other people paying their bill. The only ramification to the district is the loss of the revenue. It's not negatively impacting any of the other residents. Again, it's just loss of revenue into that district for payments to be made for, you know, regular operation and maintenance expenses at this point.
Yeah, my concern is that you get enough of those and you got a district that needs to borrow money from the county again, which we've had, you know, how that's gone in the past. So we have to be careful about that as well. I think.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, if this was a smaller district, there's definitely a much bigger impact, but because it is MD 22, there are lots of other ratepayers, you know, economies of scale is on our side in this situation versus like, let's say, you know, MD 36 Eastern Arcola with 16 people paying. That would be detrimental. In this case, it is not necessarily detrimental to the district.
Supervisor Wamhoff.
Yeah, I would like to have a provision saying, you know, let's put them on a payment plan. If they don't agree to a payment plan by some specified date, Friday, whatever, then it defaults to the tax roll. Because even if it goes on the tax roll, there's no guarantee that we get payment anyway. So I mean, let's try to resolve these in that fashion. They've, you know, spent the calories to come down here and speak to us about their bill. So I mean, I would be in favor of passing it with the caveat that if they don't come up with an amenable payment arrangement with the county by whatever date, then it will default to going on the tax roll. Do you see any problems with that or issues related to that?
No, all three parties are here. I can speak to them about what a repayment plan would look like. We can go upstairs and, you know, work through what those repayment plans would look like. And if they agree, they can sign them today.
I'd like to point something out too. This is not about the county collecting money for the county. These are maintenance districts. These are owned by the property owners, and we're just the overseer of it. We can't make a profit from these people paying or not paying. That is not the point at all. In the past, we've had issues where entire districts were delinquent and the county had to loan the money. We cannot give money. We cannot, it would be a gift of public funds if we erase debt. And I think that's another concern I have about this other thing as well, is the timing of it, and all of that is the gift of public funds. So this is not just about us wanting to collect this money. There are other considerations involved here beyond that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'd like to make a motion that we remove the two names that have satisfied their bill. And for those that have come before us today, the three that they are not automatically removed from the tax roll, but if they don't come up with a minimal payment arrangement with the county by Friday, then it will default to the tax roll.
I'll second.
I'd like to also add, though, Supervisor, if I may, some direction to staff to check the policies from the nearby counties on what you do with the standby units. I'd like to see something come back, or at least you provide us some more information on that.
Right.
Are you open to that?
As part of the motion
Bring it back.
to research? Oh, just to bring it back in general? Okay, is there any implication for delaying this for the tax roll purposes?
No, but we could still move forward, but I just want them to bring it back. You know,
As
that
a separate,
Yes.
as a separate.
So not
consideration.
as part of this motion.
direction.
Right.
So not part of this motion though, right?
Oh, it's direction.
Good. I
We
mean,
can
just separate direction.
As direction.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
That's fine.
We have a first and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Wamhoff,
Yes.
Supervisor Portress.
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers.
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley,
Yes.
Chair Gonzalez.
Yes,
Vote passes 5-0.
thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to make a note that we will close the public hearing. Failed to mention that. Item 6B.
Community and Economic Development Department Planning Division hearing and consideration to adopt a resolution approving negative declaration 2025-02 under the California Environmental Quality Act, tentative partial cancellation of Williamson Act, contract number 1733-C-72.
Thank you. Jamie.
Good morning again. Jamie Bax with Community and Economic Development. With me also is Jacob Aragon from the Planning Division, and also want to thank Brett Frazier and Brian Glover from the Assessor's Office for helping us with this item. Excuse me. Before you is a tentative cancellation of a Williamson Act contract. We did prepare a negative declaration, and that was properly noticed in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act. This project is located in the North Fork area on the corners of Two Hills Road and Wiley Ranch Road. This is just a rendering of the general plan in this area. It is designated as agricultural exclusive. North Fork area plan has it designated as a resource conservation area, and the zoning as ARE 40 or agricultural exclusive 40-acre district. Some of the findings, or all of the findings that need to be made in order to allow for the tentative cancellation to proceed, are that a notice of non-renewal has been filed, which it has. Your board actually considered a notice last year, which allowed for the non-renewal to be recorded in the recorder's office in 2024. So that has already occurred. Won't remove adjacent lands from agricultural use, which will it won't. Also, we're not changing any of the general plan designations or any of those uses. So with that, we have included those findings as part of the resolution moving forward. The assessor's office did assist us in determining the cancellation fee, which is 12.5% percent of the valuation of the property. Once the application, if this tentative approval occurs, they'll have the opportunity to pay that fee. Staff will come before your board again, asking for the final approval, which is normally a matter of consent. So with that, staff does recommend approval of the negative declaration and approval of the contract cancellation. We're available for any questions you might have.
Thank you, Jamie. This is a public hearing, so we will now open the public hearing. Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
Yes, Chair.
Supervisor McCauley.
In regards to the cancellation fee, the 12.5%, is that, who sets that 12.5%? Who determines what that rate is?
So the assessor's office helped us, assisted us in determining that valuation. I don't know, Brian, if you want to go over the
I know the
metrics.
value of the property is set by the assessor's office, but the 12.5%, is that,
I apologize. That is set by the State Department
Okay.
of Conservation and their rules for the Williamson Act
we don't
program.
have any control over that fee?
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Just the assessment of the property itself.
Correct.
Okay.
I did want to mention, I apologize. We did receive some comments overnight within the last 24 hours from Chris Hamilton. We wanted to make sure we addressed those. There is a conditional use permit that is being processed. However, it's not a part of this recommendation by staff. That will move forward if the board does approve this moving forward. However, just did want to clarify the conditional use permit is not a part of this action.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Okay, so just for clarification, so the land is still agricultural use, and the applicant understands that they still need to go through the conditional use process in order to do the activities.
Yes,
related to that?
Supervisor. They intend on proceeding with the conditional use permit.
Okay, perfect.
Anyone else? Do we have any public comment on this item?
None online.
I'll close public comment and bring it back for action.
Move to approve.
And by closing public comment,
I will now close the public hearing. We have a first and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor McCauley?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Chair Gonzalez?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Item 6C.
Public Works Department Engineering Services Division introduction of an ordinance amending section 2.93.010 of chapter 2.93 Madera County Code relating to the delegation of authority to acquire interest in real property, waive the first reading and set the second reading for September 9th, 2025.
Good
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dominic Tyberski, Public Works Director. I'm before you this morning to introduce an ordinance amending section 2.93.010 of the Madera County Code relating to delegation of authority to acquire interest in real property. The department requests waiving of the first reading and to set the second reading for September 9th, 2025. In July of 2020, your board adopted ordinance 593E, which amended chapter 2.93 of the county code to allow a delegated county officer to act on your behalf with respect to right-of-way acquisition for public works projects pursuant to government code section 25350.60. This action is necessary for the continued progress on various current and future county public works projects, which require minor right-of-way acquisitions, constrained at $125,000 for capital projects and $50,000 for maintenance projects. Section 2.93G of Chapter 2 set a 5-year effective period from the date the chapter was last amended. Therefore, the Public Works Department is requesting that the board approve an ordinance to amend Chapter 2.93, renewing the 5-year effective period 2025 through 2030. Happy to try to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions or comments from the board? Do we have any public comment on this item?
None online.
I'll bring it back to the board for action.
I'll move to waive the first reading, set the second reading for September 9th.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Wamhaugh?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley?
Aye.
Chair Gonzalez?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dominic. Pending legislation, item 8A.
Oh, excuse me. County Administration Department, discussion and consideration to ratify a letter of opposition to Assembly Bill 339 as introduced by Assembly Member Ortega relating to public employment.
Good morning, Chair and members of the board. This is an opportunity to ratify a letter that we had the chair sign last week and forward to the Appropriations Committee in advance of the legislature's return yesterday to session. Previously, other entities had forwarded one single letter, which this letter was drafted after, included RCRC, CSAC, and a number of other entities, including counties and cities. The bottom line with AB 339 is it's something that's going to add significantly to the amount of work that would have to be done in terms of providing written notice in advance of trying to renew or extend any existing contracts to perform work that may or may not be in the scope of work of current job classifications. Probably the best way to sum up this fairly lengthy letter is we're currently in a time of economic uncertainty for local government. It's not the time to consider making decision-making processes that make that decision-making more difficult. And that's why we requested the chair to sign this letter and forward it.
Thank you, Jay. Any questions or comments from the board? Supervisor Wong.
I just have a comment. Senator Caballero's name is misspelled on the title of the letter.
Good catch.
Missing an L. That's it. I would move to approve the correction of the.
I'll second.
Do we have any public comment on this item?
None online.
Seeing none, we have a first and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Wamhoff.
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras.
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers.
Yes.
Supervisor McCully.
Yes.
Chair Gonzalez.
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you. Moving on to supervisor and staff reports. I'll start with Supervisor Rogers.
Yes, nothing to report.
Supervisor McCully.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, I was very happy to participate in interviews for our new chief probation officer yesterday. So I want to thank the courts for their hospitality. Just share with the board that we had a lot of great candidates. So wherever we end up, I think we're going to be in great shape.
Great, thank you for that. I'll just announce that on Friday, the Madera Street Eats is back at it again at the park. I have particular interest because they're going to have Bluey, and my 2-year-old is a huge fan, so I'm very excited to go. But it's a taco truck throwdown. It's Madera versus Fresno, so please come out and participate in the activities. That's Friday at 5 to 9-ish at Courthouse Park, 5 to 10. So thank you to the committee that puts that together. Supervisor Wamhoff.
Yes, thank you. Last Wednesday, I held a coffee and conversation town hall at the library. It was very well attended, had, I don't know, 50, 60 plus people there. And I wanted to thank all of the attendees and speakers. We had a lot of speakers, our sheriff and some of the other folks from the sheriff's office. While we had a meeting, there was a house fire in the ranchos, and our CAL FIRE folks were not at the meeting for obvious reasons. So we want to thank them for everything they do. CHP was there talking about traffic safety, our entire public works department, Dominic Tyberski, Jimmy Bax, Matt Trieber. They were all there taking the brunt of everything. We also had folks from Red Rock there talking about SB 1383, green cans, and what is allowable, not allowable. Krista Riggs, our librarian, had a short presentation, and MCTC was there, Transportation Commission, and provided some good updates regarding unmet transit needs, and also their new GIS interactive map that allows residents to go on and see detailed information on an interactive map about road projects that are happening. And so it was a great meeting, a lot of really good information. It lasted longer than I had hoped, but that's the way it goes sometimes. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Poitras.
Thank you. Last week, I attended a RCRC meeting as well as an ad hoc meeting that was set up for the acquisition and retention of new employees to local government, county government, city government, et cetera, how to do that better. And then I attended a California Transportation Commission meeting in San Diego on Thursday and Friday. SR 99 had
approval for an extension of the financing for SR 99 due to some right-of-way issues that took longer than normal, as well as some other things to do with AT&T, some removal of fiber, and as well as Union Pacific and some issues there. But it looks like things are still on track, and we should be breaking ground on the widening on 99 next summer.
Great. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. CAO Varney.
Well, it's good to hear that the Union Pacific is still on track. 'Cause if
There,
it
I
wasn't, we'd have a
I know.
problem. Two quick things. One is the legislature is currently working on having a hearing about the redistricting. Our consultant, Shaw Yoder, will be sending us a synopsis later this evening or tomorrow on that. And then it's a little early, but we don't have another board meeting scheduled until the 9th. So I wanted to remind the board that on 9/11, we'll be having our 9/11 and firefighter memorial service at the 9/11 Memorial in Old Courthouse Park. And that will be at 9 a.m. on September 11th. Thank you.
Thank you. County Council.
No report. Thank you, Chair.
Madam Clerk,
Nothing to report. Thank you.
do you have any other staff? Seeing none, as CAO Varney alluded to, we will not have a meeting until September the 9th, although we may have a special board meeting coming up. More to come on that. So happy Labor Day to our staff and our residents. And with that, we will stand adjourned. Thank you.